Hello, I'm Mark, and this is my testimony. Uh, I grew up in Toronto, in the southern end of Toronto, with father, mother, brother, and a sister, an older brother and sister. And it wasn't a Christian family per se. I basically, at a young age, started taking definitely the wrong path. I was influenced by my older brother, uh, who uh, who was drinking by that age. He was quite a bit older than me, so I seen what he did. He seemed to be popular around the neighborhood. Everybody thought he was cool, but he was trouble. He was into booze and drugs and violence. I seen him get into quite a few fights, and it became my role model basically. As I looked at him, I looked how people were. He was popular with the people around, and I was shy as a kid, and I didn't get very much attention at all because I was so quiet. And that led me to want to do something about that. And instead of looking for positive means, I basically followed in my brother's footsteps. Started drinking at a very young age. Started doing drugs. Then I seen he was doing really well financially, and I asked him, where do you get all this money? You're only working a very blue collar job here, and you seem to have a lot of money. And I found out he was selling drugs, and so I decided, wow, that's a good way to make a lot of money. So he set me up, and he gave me a little tutelage in the wrong way, obviously, and I started doing that. It was very successful. I had this false sense of power. I thought, wow, look at me, I'm all that. And but it wasn't long before the things that go along with drugs and go along with crime. Bad things happen, and life started taking a spiral downhill as I got into my later teens. But I led a double life. Most of the people that I knew outside of the circle of drugs didn't even know what I was doing. I would hide it quite well. But the people around me, I've seen a lot of awful stuff happen to them. And like I had mentioned, I had a couple friends that had overdosed, and I ended up having a couple events of that myself. Where I took way too much drugs and ended up in the hospital and nearly died a couple of times. I met a young woman, and we hit it off, and I ended up getting married. But I was in such a bad place, and I wasn't very discerning. She was troubled also, and we had a very volatile relationship, and we ended up splitting up when she actually tried to murder me in my sleep. So that that didn't end well. Luckily, she didn't succeed, obviously, but that didn't end well. We ended up divorcing, and then I just went worse. Like, just said, this had affected me negatively, even more so, and I got more angry about everything, and it just escalated what I was doing, got worse and worse, and really didn't care. One morning I woke up, and I was in a really bad place. I'd been on a bad bout of drug use and was really in the gutter, and I looked in the mirror in my bathroom, and it wasn't me looking back. It was just this distorted, I don't know, the face like a demon, and it just affected me. It scared me, and I heard a voice in me just saying, "This is you. This is you." And I remember just yelling out, like, "No, this isn't me." And I knew what I had to do right away. I just literally left the bathroom and grabbed all my drugs and threw them away, flushed them down the toilet, I remember even thinking of practically going after it. I was so addicted, but that shook me so much. So I thought, really straighten my life out here, and my life did start, not being as bad. I wasn't around those people anymore. It wasn't like a constant party every night and violence and whatever, because I had walked away from that. But there was something still empty in me. I was fortunate to meet my wife, who I'm still married with, Maureen, and that was a pivotal moment, definitely. She taught me to open myself up and to actually learn how to openly and really care for somebody, not superficially like everything was before. And so she was a very positive impact on my life. And so I was struggling with a lot of emotional things, and there came a time when a couple times where I felt like none of this is worth it, and became depressed and suicidal even, and I struggled with this, and then one day I was working on some electrical wires, and I got literally caught on the electrical wires, and I fell down, and they were on top of me, and I was being electrocuted. And my wife, Maureen, she was there, fortunately. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today. She went in the barn and shut off the power and saved my life. And I passed out, and when I came to, it was the weirdest feeling. It was like I was opening my eyes for the first time. That's the only way I could explain it. But I was changed. I was literally changed. Everything I do, everything I'd look at, everything I'd see, whether it be a bird, or whether it be the trees, or whatever I would see after that, it would just hit me that this has to be from God. This can't be by accident. It's impossible. This is all God. Shortly after that, Jim, a guy named Jim Fawcett, I met, and he's a Christian, and he started talking to me. I mentioned to him about me thinking I was connecting with God now on some level, and that I could see him in everything. Everything that I would see God in it, and he started explaining to me the gospel, and he explained to me how you go about being saved. And so I started reading the Bible. I started having conversations with him about the gospel, about faith in general. And one day I just decided that I'm gonna do this. I believe this, and I'm going to get down on my hands and knees. I'm going to pray to him. I'm going to show repentance, and I'm going to tell him that I believe in him, that I know that he died for our sins, and that he could and would forgive me for all the sins I did, and that he was risen, and he's alive still. And so I went through this, and it just I was still in a bad place emotionally, but it was like when I did this, I broke down. I cried like I never cried before. I just it was like this emotional release, and then I felt so elated. This feeling came over me, like all these things were literally washed away. Like I just this pain in my heart was just lifted, and I was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't know really what to think of it. It just shook me to the core, and I was so happy that I'd never been so happy in my life. The more I prayed, the more I acknowledged and acknowledged him and gave him credit for this, because I knew it was him. I knew it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I knew who I'd been. I knew who I was, and that wasn't me. He did this for me. He changed my life. He changed my life fundamentally in every way. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine him. Before that, I couldn't imagine him doing that. I didn't think I was worthy for that. It might have been a lot of what kept me away. Is I just felt lost, and there's, what God would want anything to do with me, with what I've done. When I was saved, was shortly after. I don't know if it was the day after or a couple of days after that. I was talking to Maureen about it, and she said, "Well, you never guess." And I think not. I'm not sure if it was the same night or not, but she had the same experience, that she was actually saved, gave herself to Christ, and she said she was a little nervous about talking to me about it, and was shocked when I brought it up. So it was amazing that we were both saved very, very close to the same time, and we were both just elated about it, and both knew what had happened was real, and it was just a miracle, a miracle. He's a miracle worker for sure. Since then, I've become a member at Hope Church here, and have made friends and family now. I see it as family now. I could have never said that before, but yes, I see my fellow brothers and sisters here as brothers and sisters, as family, and I look forward to spending more and more time and committing myself to good works, to showing good fruit, doing whatever I can with whatever gifts that He's given me to help the ministry, to help people in need. Anything I can do, I'm willing to do. I've given my life to service to Him. I'm now but a humble servant, and I just look forward to every day. Every day I will wake up and I give praise to Him for one more day, just one more day, to be able to learn to walk closer to His path, to be every day to be a little bit more like Him and a lot less like me. If even one person gets some inspiration by hearing that, the depths of where I was and what He's done for me, and hopefully that can bring somebody else to this amazing gift that He has to offer. And I'd like to thank you all again, and God bless.